gonna teach all the groovy people. It ain't reggae, but it's funky. It ain't reggae, but it's groovy. Get down with that funky sound.
Hey guys, just testing the sound on the phone. 1, 2, 3. Hey guys, Scott from Edge Specialist Advice Network. I hope you're all well. Hey, I'm coming to you today from the Siam at Siam Sky Bar in Chonburi, Pattaya. One of the things I want to do is I've had, as you guys know, we send out a lot of video things that, educational videos for everyone to talk about, and we love discussion. And I had one of my long-time viewers has written a letter into me. I won't sort of explain the name, but I wanted to go through it. Bear with me for about 30 seconds, and it's not too long, but it talks about public housing, and it's his concern for, I guess, his children and our grandchildren in Australia, and what it means for housing in actual, can you even get a house? What homelessness housing, pressure on rentals, all that sort of stuff. So it's very topical at the moment. I wanted to read you a few things from, it says, hey Scott, been watching your videos for ages, thank you very much, love your work, keep it up. I would like to know why our governments have dropped the ball on public housing. As I watched a video not long ago, I think the numbers were about 180,000 dwellings in the mid-1990s. That's about correct. That's about as high as we've ever got in Australia. But 180,000 dwellings a year is kind of where we've peaked. Only to have 150,000 dwellings 30 years on with a much larger population. So what he's saying is, hey, this doesn't make sense. We're building less, but we've got more people. And I agree. I grew up in a housing commission home, and I don't know what my life would have been like if there wasn't that support. I'm all for people, looking after themselves, and I don't want people to budge off the system, but there are circumstances where public housing is needed. I fully agree with you there. It's shocking to see how property prices keep going up, and I'm guessing I've been a very small minority hoping for a market crash, even though I have multiple property portfolio. It wasn't that long ago when we were buying houses at $60,000 to $100,000 range, especially in Queensland. Probably I'd say back in the 1999-2000 period, I remember buying a house for $100,000, 2001. Okay, so he's correct there. I Googled our population in 1995, 18 million people, and in 2024, 26.5 million. It's actually probably about 28 million by the time you put the non-residents in, students, migration and things like that as well. So really high, and what he's trying to do is he can't make sense of these numbers. It's obvious, everybody can count. We've got more and more people coming in, and we're building less and less dwellings. So by his calculation, he's going, hey, my loose numbers are, there's a 90,000 dwelling shortfall a year every year, and when it's not building them, how the hell is this going to house people? Is the purpose to house people? What is it meant to be? And he says, well, my wife and I started in property in 1998. We went in with the mentality to work bloody hard and make a buck, buying things that needed he's got shit heaps, needed a lot of work, creating value. And he said, and now it's an absolute joke to turn around and see some people buying a house, turning around, they make a couple $100,000 in equity, and they think they're champion millionaires. Well, there's a lot to unpack there, okay? And thank you very much for writing this letter in. It's really important. Let's start with a few things backwards first. Hey, if someone makes $100,000 sleeping 1 year because their property price went up in value, I have no problem with that. In the fact that if they've had enough nous to go and invest in property, then, and these are the market conditions that the government has created, the economy has created, not you, you're just taking the right side of that trade, then that's fine as well. The theme here sounds like almost hopelessness, right? It's like, how is public housing going to exist? How the hell are people going to look after themselves? And unfortunately, I can't see an answer to that too. What I can see is that we have to take responsibility for ourselves. I don't think the government is there to house you. That may be shocking to some people. Some people might say, oh, that's the government's job. I don't think it is. I don't think it's really ever been the government's job to house the entire population. It is to create some sort of safety net and work with non-profit organisations and churches and that to try and help those less fortunate. But it's not really their policy to go out and build housing en masse. We're not a communist style nation, and we're moving in that way very, very quickly, but that's not the way the economic policies have been set of the past. So there's a theme there, it's like, hey, we have to take responsibility for ourselves, and we're gonna have to educate our kids and probably give them a hand up into that as well. The numbers don't lie. 90,000 dwellings a year short. What is that going to mean for pricing? It can only mean one thing: when the government keeps flooding the country with the new population, via migration. The other point he's gone on and says, why are we just doing public housing? Regulation and taxes that the government create an environment that they can't even do the public housing themselves. Because every building has to be an E7 rating, which adds about $50,000 to $60,000 for no reason onto a house. Every zoning has to have something. Every this, every that, right? You can't build affordable housing in Australia due to basically 20 layers of regulation and taxes. And the governments have shot themselves in the foot, and they are not going to be able to build public housing. They are not going to be able to build people. At best, they're going to come in right at the end, and they're going to build basically slum towers, Soviet Union style. That's about all they could probably really do, because their regulations are so heavy. All right, and you think about that, that to build all these towers under E7 rating and all these, planning, not in my backyard style things, saturation of infrastructure and services in localized areas. You really can't do it any other way. So, yes, Australia's in trouble. All I would say is that those of us who understand what's going on, we need to grab each other and help each other and pull each other up out of the abyss. You got to help your kids, you got to help your grandkids, you help your friends. Tell everyone, explain to everyone that they've got how to get into real estate. Explain to everyone how to borrow money, use other people's money to do this. Unfortunately, the government is not made to create housing for you. It's this other thing. All right. So, but look, I really appreciate this letter, and it goes on to say a lot of good things. But I can feel the despair, and I think there needs to be a reckoning where we go. It is up to us on an individual level to help our individual communities, to help them into housing, to help them get settled, to help them find some sort of purpose, some sort of education in how to actually do it, how to use other people's money, how to renovate houses, how to slowly build the equity, how to slowly build a property portfolio, because there's a large section of the population that the government is not going to be able to help, and that is by design, and that is by policy. All right, guys, probably not super exciting, and I'm sorry, but I really was appreciative of this letter into me, and I wanted to take it full head on. Brett, I'm sorry I don't have some better things to say, but mate, it's up to us to help those around us. All right, that's enough from me, guys. Remember, life is a family sport. Give yours an edge. Check out this view, guys. It's pretty amazing. Check out this view, guys. It's pretty amazing.